Hello and welcome to another Writerly Witterings with me, Michael Jacks, the tea drinking author, with a lovely cup of English breakfast in a hedgehog mug. Why not? Cheers. Now, I had a delightful message a couple of weeks ago from a gentleman in Scandinavia. He's an aspiring author, and I got to know him because he contacted me on my website and asked me if I could help mentor him. And I did for several months. And it was thoroughly enjoyable. He was a very nice bloke, got a really interesting idea for a story. Sadly, as happens so often, he's not actually found any time to progress with it since he and I stopped the mentoring program some months ago. So I've been giving him a bit of advice about, copy Robert Hardy or Thomas Hardy, whichever it was, who managed to get his books written by getting up at about 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning and writing for 2 hours before he went to work. He worked at the Royal Mail at the time. So I give out this sort of useful information to people, which is do not do as I do, which is sleep through till 8:30 and then get up and gradually go through emails and sometimes start writing by 10. Do as I say, though, because it's obviously a much better idea. He was asking about notebooks, and I started thinking, well, flipping it. And this is just to give a sort of short view of some of my notebooks. All right, here you go. Look at them all. Now, it has to be said, some of these get used a lot more than others. Now, I've got a Field Notes A6, never gets used. It was a complete waste of money. This, on the other hand, is actually quite handy. It's the sort of thing that I used to get hold of when I was a computer salesman, because this format would fit very easily inside a jacket and you could carry it around with you. And I like lined paper or plain paper. I don't really get on with too much else. In terms of the most used notebooks just now, these are the perpetrators, William Hanna and Lockby. Lockby because it will take any number of A5 cahiers. William Hanna because it's got my diary in it and it has a brilliant ring system so that you can tear pages out and put them back in again. It's also got some of the most superb paper for writing on that I've ever had the joy of experiencing. It's just wonderful. I have, I've got to show this because I do love it. This is an Odyssey notebook. It's a B5 format and I find it phenomenally useful. The paper is wonderful and I use it all the time. I've got this. It's a stone notebook. I've used it a little bit and I don't think I'm going to use it anymore because stone notebooks just don't quite feel right when you're using fountain pens. I can use them with pencils, but it's still not real paper. This I thought would be brilliant, but it's got squares all over it and I don't like squares to write on. It just doesn't quite work for me. In the same way, someone gave me this ages ago, a little sketchbook, and I'll never actually use it because, again, lots of squares. I just find they distract when I'm trying to think up things. I've got two more William Hannas, which are superb. I've got another mini-sized Lockby, which is also superb. In fact, the two that are constantly with me just now are, if I can make some space, the one that's in my pocket currently is a Paper Republic, which has next year's diary. I thought it would be a good idea to try experimenting with a diary that would fit in a smaller notebook. It's got a simple sketch pad. There you go, just cheap paper. It's got wonderful Paper Republic lined paper in one of their book formats, which is superb. And I've also thrown in part of a watercolour painting block, only half of one, because it fits. So with that lot, I've got my diary, my daily sketch pad, I've got my notebook, and I've got a watercolour sketch pad as well, which is pretty much everything I need per day. But I actually don't like taking that out with me all the time. If I'm out going for a walk on the moors or out with the dogs, I'll generally take this, the Lockbee, because it's got the ability to take 4 different notebooks. It's currently got a spare lined notebook, it's got a dot grid, and it's got a wonderful Paper Republic sketchbook. So these two tend to be with me, one or the other, every single day of the week. There's other notebooks. I love this. Look at that. It's a beautiful notebook, but it's actually blanks. It's called blanks. Simple. Why is it called blanks? Because they took the hardcover off a book, which is vandalism, it's disgraceful, and filled it with plain paper, which I can then use to sketch on. So what am I talking about here, basically? Well, this delightful chap contacted me and said, had I tried a variety of other types of notebook? And he didn't mean a Conway Stewart notebook, which is bloody wonderful, incidentally. He didn't say a ring-bound system like the William Hanna. He was talking about a loose leaf notebook filing system. And the company that he mentioned was, oh, got to move them out of the way. The company that he was talking about was someone called UGMonk, UGMonk. And they've got a fascinating, what they call analog system. So they've got an analog starter kit, analog bundles, analog card refills, analog accessories. And the whole concept seems to be that it started off as a box which takes cards, and you have 1 card per day, and effectively it's a to-do list. But they have a principle or a theory that getting something typed up on a computer is not as satisfying mentally as actually writing things on a sheet of paper and crossing them off. I can agree with that. So how it works is, it's a concept and a principle, I think is the way to put it. So you've got a holder that sits on your desk. You have a whole series of cards stored in this holder, and you have a slot at the front so that you can take a card and slot it vertically so you can see what you are supposed to do. Because the idea is they think that you should have 10 or so things that you should do a day. And they can be urgent, they can be secondary, they can be whatever you want, but they should be done in that day. One might be having lunch with a colleague, for example. And they've got different types of notation so that you can see what's actually crucial that day, what isn't, all that sort of thing, which is a bit pointless really, because as far as I'm concerned, if I've got 10 things there, I can normally keep fixed in my mind which is the most urgent and which is the least important. But that's me. So you've got this system, and it's got 3 types of card. You've got the things that must be done today, the to-do list. You've got extras, or things for the next day, which you can add to for the next day, oddly enough. And then you've got someday, S-O-M-E, not S-U-N. And the someday card is for things that, yeah, you should do it, but it's not immediately urgent, and so it can go on the back burner and you come to it when you get a chance. I like that principle. I like that concept. It feels very appealing. I love the look of their desk accessories. They've got these wooden boxes, or metal if you don't want to go for the wood. The cards apparently are 100 GSM. So pretty much, I think, like a standard set of cue cards, you know, the filing cards, whatever you call them, the 3x5 or 5x8 type cards. They're reasonably solid. Don't know how well they'd cope with the fountain pen. I have actually written to them and asked if it would be possible to have a couple of paper samples so I can try them. It's a very interesting looking concept. They've also got an annual card which is pretty much a diary system, but it's a week at a view, and it goes landscape on this little wooden board. So again, you've got all the cards in there, you pull it up, put the ones on the front, and that way you keep abreast of what it is you've got to do that week, which is quite appealing too. Now, it's just one of those things. I don't know. For me as an author, how useful such a system would be. I mean, for me, this is really all I need. It's a Quo Vadis note diary. It has the days. It gives me rough hours of the day. That's pretty much irrelevant to me. All I need is a means of seeing every week what it is I'm supposed to be doing that week. Do I look at it every day? No, because I'm an author. What am I going to do? I get up in the morning, I have a look at some emails, I walk the dogs, I come back here, I sit here and I type. That is my job. Keeping track of business meetings really ain't that much of an issue. Keeping plans for projects, probably for marketing, so that I'm fully up to date with what marketing needs, that's important. But in terms of other stuff, do I go out to many bookshops? No, because most of my books are sold as e-books or audio. What's the point of me going out and pretending to sign somebody's Kindle? There's not a lot of point in it. So it's an interesting concept. I can see how it would be fabulously useful for a number of people in different types of job. I can see them selling a large number of these things because they look quite beautiful. But will I ever try it? I don't know. I'll try it if they send me one and I'll give it a bit of a go. But as it stands right now, I can't actually see that I'd be able to make good use of it compared with that and these and my other Lockbees and William Hannahs and my wonderful Conway Stewarts. On my desk permanently is now this one, which has just lost a sheet of paper. But this from Conway Stewart is beautiful, looks lovely, and it keeps track of whatever I've got to do. So yes, my answer to the question about have I tried a loose leaf system like this? No, I haven't. I can see the use, but I'm not convinced yet that it would prove superior to a William Hannah system in which you can have your various bits of paper, but they're held in a binder and you can discard them when you're done with them, but they're there when you need it until you discard it because you don't need it anymore. Having a separate bit of desk accessory that holds bits of paper, well, you know, if I had a desk that had a bit more space on it, maybe that would work. But as it stands right now, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 piles of research books on my desk, another pile which is just thesaurus, dictionary and that kind of thing. Then I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 piles of books which I'm supposed to be reading at some point for pleasure or for research purposes. Do I have space for yet another thing on my desk? I don't think so. Anyway, I hope that was interesting. I'll let you know if I hear anything back from UGMonk. I really can't imagine how they got to that name, but I'll let you know if I hear anything back from them, and if I get a chance I'll do a review of their stuff and tell you what their paper's like. But in the meantime, if you enjoyed this, don't forget to hit the like, the subscribe, hit the bell for notifications. If you want to buy me a coffee, you can do that down the bottom, or you can join my Patreon. Some of you have joined the Patreon, some of you are doing it free of charge, in which case you get a message at least every couple of months, but others prefer to pay a little bit and then get a message a week, or they quite like going to my newsletter. If you go to my website, michaeljex.co.uk, you'll see a contact button. Hit that and it'll take you through to a newsletter advance slip, and then you'll get a newsletter from me once a month as well. What's not to like? Thanks a lot for watching. I hope you enjoyed that, and I'll see you in a week's time. Cheers. Actually, if I see you in a week's time, I'll be seriously concerned. You'll see me in a week's time. Bye-bye.